Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tyler Potts and welcome back to day number 9 of 100 Days of Code. Thank you for stopping by and let's crack on. So in today's video, in today's 100 Days of Code, we're going to be doing the basics, starting off a NodeJS server. So how you create a server in NodeJS, something basic like that. I think we're going to see there's two options I can go for here, and I could just go straight from scratch and use nothing. I can just use HTTP, or I can go straight in and use Express, which is normally the go-to option. And I think we're going to go the Express route to start with. But first, we're going to start by actually learning how to install Node.js and everything else and getting it set up. So again, if you hop over to your browser, your local one, and type in nodejs.org, you will come to this page, and this is the Node.js. What's the word for it? This is the Node.js download page and the home page in one. So before we download, so as you probably guess, you just hit the download button there. But for us, we're going to quickly go through what Node.js is, and Node.js is an open source software environment. So I just read that off a script, by the way. I literally stole that from somewhere. The best part about it is it's open source. People can contribute to it, and it's just growing and growing and growing. It's really good. Loads of people are involved, and it's getting quite popular now. So that is great. So Node.js is runs on the Chrome. Oh god, now it is testing my brain. It runs on the Chrome VA engine. I forgot what it's called. Yeah, so it runs on the runtime. It's a JavaScript runtime built on Chrome's V8 JavaScript engine. So basically, it is a server-side. It's a server-side technology what uses JavaScript. God, that was a tongue twister and a half, wasn't it? Okay, so other than that, let's get on to the download. So once we've got past the nitty-gritty of the bare bones stuff, it's quite simple, Node.js, once you learn how to actually use it. So again, this is the package. This is the recommended one. I would recommend using the recommended one. Latest can sometimes have bugs and stuff, and never really use that. Never use latest for production because you never know what can go wrong. Okay, so now we've got a package file, and I'm going to run this. I also do have this installed already. So let's go back here because it's gone onto my other screen. I do have this installed already, but I am going to reinstall it because I'm hoping it overwrites it and doesn't just delete it. This will take up 60.4 megabytes of space on your computer. Install. And my password. It's really complex. It's 4 letters. Or numbers. Hey, look at that. Bam. So that is now installed. And so now that's installed. That's literally it. That's how you install it. But now Node.js is installed. It also comes with it also comes with the Node Package Manager (npm), which we will use to do pretty much everything in the future. But before we go on to that, to check our installation in your terminal, so open up a terminal or a command prompt or whatever you use. Type in node and -v to stand for version, and look at that, we've got you should have 10.15.1 if you're doing this at the time of this, but you should have whatever version is there, which is great. So that is good. And now if we type npm -v, you should also have roughly the same as me, 6.4.1 or equivalent, somewhere near there. And that is that all set up. So that is literally how you download it. It's as simple as that. And in Node, we can type in Node here, and then we can run stuff like console.log, and we can say hello. And there you go, it returned me hello at the same time. Again, we don't need to do that. That's not really something we need to focus on. So I've opened up my folder directory inside of this file here. But we need to start off in the terminal. So to start a new Node project, you need to type npm init. And what this will do is set up a whole package manager. So look, you give it a name. So we're going to call this NodeJS Basics, a version number, which is fine. Description, we don't need one. This is gonna, I hate index.js. I like calling it app.js. Command, git repository, nub, keywords, author. You can put your own name here. And license, ICS, and that is good, clear. So now if we go over back in here, we have this file where it's automatically generated, which literally was the questions we answered. See this script? We don't actually need this script, but we can create a new script called start, and this will say node, and then it will say app.js. Oh, hello. And what that does, that will run our app.js file. So if we did in here npm star, it's going to error because we don't have, and it can't find app.js because we haven't created it yet, but at the same time, that's what it would do. It would run that command in there. So let's create the app.js file. So I guess, well, actually, yeah, let's create so app.js. And there is our app.js folder, files. Okay, that's cool. There's not much we can write in here right now because it's not going to work. We need to, well, it will work, but we want to get into Express, I believe so. So Express doesn't come built into Node. You have to actually install it separate. You can either install it per, well, it's you install it per project as well. So you do npm I, which stands for npm install, node package manager install, and then you will type in Express. And this, once it's done, takes a minute, this will now have installed in our package. In our package.json, you'll see here it says dependencies, and in our dependencies we have Express. So what that means is it has basically installed Express for us, and we can now call Express in our app file. And you can see it's created loads of dependencies to go with Express. So these are all the stuff what comes with Express when you install it. It's a lot of stuff, and I know it looks huge and daunting, but you don't have to worry about anything under Node modules. You don't need to touch that. So let's get started then. So we've installed Express. We also need to install a couple of other things. So we're going to do npm I, and we're going to say pug, because we want to use the pug templating engine. If you don't know what pug is, it's alright. We'll go through some little basic stuff in this tutorial, but I will also hopefully link a link to where you can learn more down below, or I can do some more of this in the future. So we'll see. So we've got pug. And then, by the way, it's been a long time since I used Node, so I can't remember everything we need, but pug is normally it. We can also use, I think pug is good actually. We don't need anything else, so we just need to install Express, pug, and if we're using a database, I'd normally install Mongoose for MongoDB database, but we ain't, so it's quite basic. We will hook up a database to this later on in the tutorials, so. But for now, in this first one, we're going to stick with the basics, like rendering a new page on the server side. So pug, there we go, that is installed. Now let's clear, check everything's good. And let's check in package.json, as you see pug is in there. So next up, we can now call stuff. So we can go const is equal to, or const express is equal to, and then we go here, require, and then we say express. So what required is it? So if you do require and you put in just a single string like this and nothing like, not like a path, you put in a keyword instead, it will look in node modules for express, and it will find express, and now it will pull it in here. It will use the export and pull it in here, which is awesome. So that is that good. To use, so what we got here, so now we've got that. Now we need to set up the app, which is, so we'll go const app is equal to express. So we got to call express, run express basically. So now express is running. So these two are literally, that's all they do. That is, they don't need to do anything else. They just work like that. They're like beautiful piece of machinery. Okay, so in Express, you can do different ways to call a page. But the first thing you have to do is go app.listen. So you're listening, and then you need to put in a port number here. So for example, 3000 is normally the default, and then you need a callback function. And by the way, you can use ES6 syntax here because this will always be so this is always running using Chrome's engine. Node will always run Chrome's engine, so you know ES6 is going to work in there, which is great. So we got E is the error, if you didn't know, and now we can go if E, we can do throw E, which basically means if there's an error, throw the error. Else console.log, and we're going to say what will we say? So we'll say Surfer is running on port 3000. So that is the base. That is all you need to get a Surfer actually running. That is it. That is it there. Boom. So now we need to run this Surfer, and in here we can just go node or npm start, and that is running. See, as you said, it said Surfer is running on port 3000. So that is come through, and now it's running. Obviously, if we went to localhost and port 3000, it's going to error because you cannot get / we haven't set up any routes. So in Express and that, we have to actually set up all your own routes manually. And to do that, it's a simple thing. You go app.get for a get request. You can use post to do a post request, and so on and so forth. But get is the one if you want to get a page or similar. So now we'll do /. That means if the directory is /, you can also do like home, and then it'll be if you did /home here. So if you were like /home, that will be that route. But we're going to use / because that is the home route. We're going to say function, or we could do an arrow function actually. And we're going to say rec, which stands for request. So we're going to say rec and then res, which stands for response. And then in here, sorry, pardon me, my throat went a bit dry there. Now we can pass stuff along, so we can say res or rec.headers .set headers, I think. Set head, or is it just headers? Header name set cookie headers. Oh god. Header. I'm pretty sure we just say content type, and then we put in here HTML, no, text /HTML. I'm pretty sure that's how you do a header, but now I'm confused. Now I'm not 100% sure if that's how you do a header. Oh god. Let's refresh, and we still get nothing. As you can see, that's not because anything's gone wrong. We actually need to now go rec.send. So oh no, res. So we need to do we need res.header. Res.set header. There you go. That's what I was trying to do. Sorry, I got it the wrong way around. You need res because that's the response. Rec is what we get from the request. So when we do / you get rec, and that could have your parameters in your queries and all stuff like that. So set header, we want to say content type, and that is equal to is it content type we need to change? Yeah, it is content, and it should be text / HTML. And just for convenience, it needs to be capital those. And that is that. Sorted. That is set. That has set the header, which it just basically says what we're about to render is HTML. And next we're going to say res.send, and we're going to put some words in there. Hello. Now let's see what happens now we reload. Still nothing. It's because I did it wrong. It needs to be right. And right will don't fail me now. Oh. Okay guys, so I have just realized what I've done wrong here. So I think send will work. The issue what I'm having is we need to restart the node server every single time we make a change. There you go, so now it's rendered hello, see, it worked. But we can actually install something which means it doesn't run every single time, and it's called NodeMon. So if you type in npm I -- save def, or is it save def? -- -d, and then we call it NodeMon. And then we install that, that will install a def dependency called NodeMon. And with what NodeMon does is allow you to, every time you make an update, it watches the file, and if it gets changed, it will then update. So NodeMon is now installed. Let's go here, and now in our package.json, we want to go npm start, and we want to say nodemon.app.js. So now if we go npm start, NodeMon is running. It's there. So now if we change something in our file and we say hello world, as you see, it restarted and started again, and now hello world appears there. So again, we can actually do more than just send that. We can actually send templates and stuff. But to do that, we need to set up our templating engine. We can render direct HTML files. So let's say if we wanted a blank file, we can say here, what's next? Index.html. But we actually first we need to create a fuse folder. So Node runs on the MVC model. Express uses the MVC model, which is model view controller. That's what MVC stands for. And then here we will type in what we say, home.html, and then in here let's write some base HTML. We'll say Node.js is cool, and then in here we'll say, we'll do a h1 tag and we'll say hello world. And now to render that, we'll do send, I believe it's send, oh no, we'll do res.render, and we're going to say home, and then we're going to pass in a blank. For now we're going to pass in blank. Actually, I think we could just do that. Now if we refresh, error, no default engine was specified. So now we have to create something called middleware, and what middleware does is basically define how the app reads and sorts out files. So you set up stuff. So for example, for this files, to render the files, we need to set up something what will handle that. So we need to actually go app.set, and we want to say app.set view engine, and we're actually going to say, HTML. I don't know, is that it? HTML or pug? Normally I would use pug, and then we'll go app.set fuse to, we actually have to now we have to use something called const path is equal to require path, and this is already built into Node, so you don't actually have to worry about it you don't have to install it or anything, it's already built in. And now in here we need to go path.join, and then we can say say underscore dir name, which stands for our current directory, and then we'll say fuse or fuse. I'm pretty sure that now will work. And now if we refresh, so oh yes, because we've set it to pug as well, we also need to we actually need to convert our file into a pug file. So we're going to look into the actually, you know what, that's so cool, look a little pug, but before we do that, let me show you how you actually render HTML files in case you do want to render a HTML file. So ignore this, and we will go down here and we'll ignore render because we don't want to actually use the rendering engine. We just want to say res.send file, and then we want to say it's a thing, so it'll be fuse home.html. Pass must be absolute. Okay, my bad. Okay guys, so I figured out my issue. So all we need to do was, I forgot to do, we had to join the path like we did here. We need to join the path here, and then that will get the path which it is set to, which is in here, home. So I've actually if we drag that into fuse now, we would actually have to put here fuse and then /home, because so what this does here is it gets the root directory, and then you can write on top of it. So that sends file, and there we go, we've got our hello world. It says Node.js is cool in the title, and that is that sorted. But next up we can use so now we're going on to the template engine, and in Fuse let's create a new file called index.pug, and in here we can do some cool things. For starters, we can do doc type HTML Is it that or that? That is it. So Pug uses Pug is so Pug doesn't use any brackets or anything. It's all like nested views. So in here we're going to go HTML head, and this is how you do it, title, and then we do an equal sign, and we say hash. Is it hash or dollar? I believe it's a. Oh no, sorry, we don't need to do that. That would be it. So title, and then we would say title here, and then in the body we'll say h1 is equal to, and then we'll say title. So what I have done here, so I've done two different ways of doing it so you can see how it works. But first let's go back here and let's change this up. So now if we click render index and we hide this and we turn back on our Pug rendering engine, I believe now if we refresh, that does nothing, but it doesn't actually say yes. So basically, I don't think it's not working. We actually need to now pass stuff through like title, and this will be Node.js. Now if we refresh, boom, there we go. So basically what is happening here is in here, in this template file, we've created a doc type HTML head title, and in here we've used a method called, so right after this we could say title, and then we could put actual text in here and say 100 days of code. If we refresh, that's there. But this here, this is how you do if you wanted to add in a variable. So you pass variables in Node.js using render, and it's in this object you pass through after render, which is title.node.js, and that is how you render like the titles in. So you can render dynamic content straight from here. So you can, let's say, connect this to a database, get like all your posts, and then pass all your posts in here, and then you can loop through them in Pug. You can do a loop in Pug on this front end to loop through it, which is great because basically the Node.js actually renders this page, it builds it for you. So here with title, so we've used this. So this is how you call a variable if you're doing it in a string, but if you just want the whole line to be a variable like this, you could do that, and then let's say, so you can do equals after your, what do you call this, a tag, but it's not a tag because it's in Pug, but it's nested view. So that, by the way, if you want an advanced tutorial on Pug, I suggest going over to the actual Pug.js the Pug.js, yeah, here, so this, and looking through this. So this tells you how it works and stuff, how actual Pug works. And as you can see here, there is conditionals, doc type filters, loads of stuff you can do in it, and there is where the best, it's so cool, there's so much cool stuff you can do with this. So unbuffered code, what am I looking for? In iterations, maybe, what's that? So yes, so here you can see you could do each value in this, and then you list that value. So this would list that, this would run li, this would create a list using 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 all the way through. As you can see, this is where it actually outputs, because that is how each works. So it's like a JavaScript loop, for loop, but doing it in, or for each loop, but doing it in HTML itself essentially. But this is again not HTML, it's Pug, and you can learn how to use that there. But I will be trying to teach it as best I can, and this is how you set up a basic document when you first start off. So we have our title 100 days code, h1 is equal to title there. Don't need that, although that is good. It is good to know that. So that is how you do a static file, but it is how you do a dynamic file, is by rendering the file from the front end. And we can create more pages. So now if we went here and we went down and we said / about, and then we created an about in here, and we'll say about, and now if we, let's say, copy that and paste that, creating an extra view and then renaming that to about, in here we could say, well, title for starters, because that will change, And then if we go in index and we add an aref to href to / about, and call this about, and then in this one an aref to home, and we just do it a slash. So basically this is how you do it. So if you want to add attributes and stuff, instead of doing it in a tag, you do it inside parentheses after the a. That's how you would work a so if you have like if you want to do style, if you want to use anchor tag, if you want to link a style, you'd use source and then put in the link like you would do in HTML, but just there. So this is where you add your attributes. And as you see, that's that. So now let's refresh the page. So we've got here, we click about, takes us to about, home. See, so now we've got multiple pages. And it's that simple to create routes. And then you can build a whole system on this. So that, I'd say we've covered the basics. I don't think we've covered too much. Again, this is going to be a short video because it is 1 in the morning and I do need to get to bed ready for work. But I was running late today, so I didn't end up getting this done earlier. But in the next video, tomorrow, we'll go on to actually building a project using Node. So something exciting, something maybe we could say a dynamic list where you could save a leaderboard or something too, and have a leaderboard, and we'll enter, or we'll do a to-do list or something. I don't know, it's something crazy, but we'll see. But for now, guys, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something. This was just a very, very basic, more of just a getting started. Go have a look over on the pugjs.org. Have a look over here, check out how that works. So if you want to use the pug, there's loads of other ones. You can use EJS, which is enough for templating engine. This one is more like JavaScript. So you actually write JavaScript and then you can do other things in it. So you can write a normal JavaScript, and this is how you do your variables there. So you do variables like PHP essentially. So this is more like a PHP sort of style syntax, which some people would prefer because you just use normal HTML when you're actually writing HTML. And again, look over that, or look at any one you want to do. It's really simple. Google stuff, it really helps. And then the next one, we'll go into more topics, maybe actually how you build your first actual app. So we've got just a simple router here, which you can link back and forth, but you can do that in JavaScript, you can do that in HTML. Let's see how we do this in NodeJS properly, yeah? Okay, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Sorry it's a short one, but it's also, but it's Node, it's something new. We're going to try and get onto more advanced topics. But again, guys, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next episode, guys. Peace out. Thank you. Bye.